Hi, good afternoon. This is the Sacred Fire and welcome back to my channel. So today I've pulled some cards from the deck, which is my Ancient Egyptian Tarot by Clive Barrett, and these are the overall energies that are coming in today. So interestingly enough, I've been feeling that the energies have settled quite recently and there is a bit of balance in the environment. So I'm in a way not very surprised that these cards have come out, but let's get to the reading. So we start off with the World card, clarified by the Hierophant, and we have the Fool, clarified by the Prince of Wands. We also have the Six of Wands, clarified by the Nine of Wands, ending with the Five of Cups and Nine of Wands, clarified by the Prince of Discs. So yes, I do apologise if my setup is slightly different from my usual one. We'll just see how this goes. Also, the base energy is the Tower. So from what I can see here is the cycle has ended, which is what a lot of us energy readers were saying and card readers. It has ended. This is because you've answered the higher call. To God, to your 5D self, to the angelic beings, you have answered the higher call, and that is why you are watching this reading. So yes, the cycle has finished, and it has been your journey, and quite a difficult one, to get to this situation. And that's because that's been the push for you to answer to the higher call, to spirit, and serve your purpose in life. I can see this comes from both the masculine and the feminine sides, whether that's internal or external. So both of you are coming onto the same page, but following on from the call, you both are at different stages. So this may be your internal masculine or feminine, or an external one. So that's why there's a little bit of push and pull. Even though there is this balance and I can feel it in the environment, there is this feeling of a little bit of unease, maybe of what's going to happen next. So we're kind of in the eye of the storm at the moment, a little bit. I wouldn't say storm, but for the next phase. So we're kind of in a respite period, a rest period here. And this is really important. And this is really reflected in the Fool card. So we have a baby in the womb in the background with the Fool going forward, accompanied by his faithful steed, not rather steed, but dog. And these are the elemental energies of the universe flowing around you. So this is from the unconscious to the conscious, from the 5D to the 3D. So things are manifesting, but it is going to take a bit of time. So we are, as I said, in this rest period, and you are in this sort of balanced state, but this feeling of going forward, or I suppose trying to find the path forward, is maybe what's on your mind at this point. And perhaps you want to make that move forward very quickly, because here we have the Prince of Wands with a line in the background. So my may be speaking to a few Leos here, and but not necessarily. But it's that energy of this fire, of this desire and this push to go forward. And no harm in that. This desire, this, I would call it like the flame up your bum, like really wanting to push you forward. And that's a good energy to be in. It's good because you're not going to stagnate. From there we have the Six of Wands. Now, this is victory, and victory in the right way. So you've come to the state, not being shoved, pushed, being dragged here to this point, screaming and kicking. You've come to this state in a very proud, and I wouldn't say arrogant, but a proud way. And you should be proud. You should be proud of coming to this stage of going through fire and getting to a point of equilibrium. this is where you can really reflect and look back at your life and situations that have happened. And as I said previously, make peace with them. So it's a lovely energy to be in. Oh, that's the word I was going to say. Like, you're worried, this foreboding of the future. Thanks, Archangel Michael, for putting that word in. Yeah, so it's kind of like this foreboding. You're not sure about what's going to happen in the future. So, and that's just going back to like Prince of Wands and the Fool. So you are, while you're in this stage of this sort of at stage 0 at the moment with the Fool, you are planning your next steps. You're wanting to move forward, and you're in the correct energy in order to move forward. However, the 6 of Wands is clarified by the 9 of Wands. So this is a bit of hard work, I suppose, to move things forward, maybe in the 3D, because we do have a statue here. You may feel like a bit of a blockage at the moment, like some sort of block where you can't kind of like move forward as you wish to, like in the Prince of Wands. And that's all for the purposes of getting you completely ready, getting you completely like to a point where you feel really sure of yourself, really protected, really feeling like you have all the energy and reserve that you need to go forward in your cycle. So don't be in a rush. Take your time, take a breather, because the next stage you are going to be going through the motions, I suspect. There are certain things that you'll be experiencing, if you haven't experienced them already, that you may perceive as being a little negative, but they're not negative. These are all important stages and situations that you need to look at and perhaps overcome mentally and emotionally. So it's good to be in a state of equilibrium, but equally you're going to be in future, you are going to be going off that. So this isn't just a positive airy fairy reading. You are going to be going off that a little bit, because that you can see here in the 5 of Cups and the outcome and the 9 of Swords. So there will be a point where you are going to bring up things perhaps from the past, because we can see here masculine and feminine energy, as we saw in the Hierophant. So this is possibly you in a balanced state, you know, going forward, leaving the past behind, which is here in the foreground. You may be ending up reminiscing, or situations may come back to you, like in a cycle, that are being brought up to you for the purposes of healing them. So, for example, it could be, you know, you meet a karmic and you're just like, you would normally be either running away from them, or you just like get really triggered. And it's important, and this causes a lot of anxiety, as we can see here on the 9 of Swords. It causes a lot of anxiety for you, but it's really important that you sort of go through it, because it's going to clear up more energy in your like field. So things are being purged still in your mental, I would say, your mental realms, as we see here in the 9 of Swords. Things maybe that you've pushed to the back of your mind. Maybe you think you've completely healed everything, but there may be a situation that will get you to thinking about the past. And it could just be anything. It could be like you don't get on with your boss, and like a situation happens where you have to deal with him, and maybe in the past you would have been like, oh my gosh, I can't deal with this, I'm just going to go home, take sick leave or whatever. But this time, and it causes you a lot of stress and anxiety, but this time you are going to make a different choice, a different path, and be really in a more empowered state, because this allows you to shift into a healed state and move forward rightly, instead of trying to move forward like this. You're going to move forward in a steady way. And this is so, so, so important, because if you move forward with a fire up your bum and you haven't done all your healing, you will come across bigger roadblocks, bigger ones than this, which is just going to hamper you moving forward. And this is really clarified here by the Tower. Now, everyone gets scared, most people do anyway, of seeing a tower in the reading. A tower is not a bad thing. Tower is very important, because here we see this lightning strike the top of of the obelisk. Sorry, I just couldn't remember the name there. Of the obelisk. And we see a white dove coming in and then people running away in the background. But then there's a beautiful sky that's coming in. So the dark clouds are going to go away and there's going to be a really bright sky coming in there. And I think it's really important to note that this is like you getting rid of these, like with the higher mind and the higher inspiration, like from your 5D to 3D, like from the angelic realms. And then also this clarified here by your white dove, is that they're really trying to get you to see maybe patterns that you have, mindsets that you have, fears that are deep, deep inside that you need to heal and you need to just really just get rid of. And it needs to go kaboom. And you will have a bright new future. So as I said, it's just getting rid of old beliefs, old systems that just don't serve you anymore. And it's really, really important to go through that in order to come out on the other side. Now, I almost wanted to say that I feel like this is a repetition of one of my other readings, but because the energy feels much different than before, in words it may seem it, but in terms of energy, it's not, because you are in a more balanced state. Before, it was really like a turbulent energy, like I said before, that you, in those previous readings, like you were going through a storm, because loads of storms were happening here as well in the UK, which is a sign of environmental energy going on. And it's starting to stop. And there is this, as I said, in the eye of the storm, or like after the storm, there is this just balanced energy, this flow state. But what we want you to do in this flow state, in this balanced state, is really to get you to look back and think, okay, I was in a turbulent mindset before, a couple of days back, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever timeline you're on. And we just need to get you to look back and see how you reacted to certain things, and get you to purge those reactions, that fearfulness, that mindset, so that when you move forward and you meet those situations again, you're not going to react in the same way. And I'll just give you an example from my own life that has recently happened, very, very recently, is that I attended a high-level interview, expecting it to be as a normal, within a normal interview process, you would have a shortlisting and they would pick from the best candidates. That did not happen. We had a long list. We also had to kind of fight for our positions on the shortlist because they gave us a group activity. The group activity, however, did not show the full strengths of all the candidates. And so they lost candidates who could not show their best potential. And to be fair, I being one of them. However, normally in that situation, I would have probably been very up in arms about it and just been like, well, how can they do this? They invited us and they said they were only shortlisting X amount of candidates, and yet they shortlisted a whole load of candidates and they didn't explain to us the entire application process. To which point, my intuition was actually telling me not to attend the interview. And I had a dream about it, as in not to attend it, because I foresaw that it wasn't a place, if they were already doing that in my dream, and I said in my dream, if you're already doing that, what makes me feel that I would want to work for a company like this? So anyway, fast forward, I thought, I'm just going to attend at least for the experience. And I did. And it was interesting, I would say, to be able to go through that entire process but not feel completely up in arms about it. My mindset had already changed because I healed it, because I didn't allow myself to feel victimized, but to feel empowered. And I felt empowered because I thought to myself, and I had dreamt about it, I thought, it's true, I do not need to go through a process where intuitively I already know that this isn't a place where I'd want to, or colleagues, or people who I'd want to work with, because they keep changing the goalposts. When you're going to start working with individuals, do you want to work with individuals who keep changing the goalposts? No, you don't. And internally, I felt so calm. And it just shows me that I've grown up, I've matured, and not felt like really angry or like I was annoyed that the process was like that, because there were so many good candidates. When I spoke to them before the interview and got to know them, I could see how dedicated they were, how conscientious they probably would be in their job. But, they weren't picked. And that was, to me, very, very unfair. In fact, the majority of candidates they picked were those who were already working within the company. So, if not all. So it was very, very unfair for those like myself who are external candidates to come in and technically waste time doing that and waste money and travel and so forth. So it's really what I'm trying to say here. It's really a good lesson to look at what triggers you and what you need to heal. And like I said, is I managed to heal that part of myself. And for me, this experience with the interview was more of a test to see how far, for me, this is how I felt about it, for me, how far I'd come in my healing. And I feel that I have come really far. I feel grounded, I felt grounded, and I still do. And in fact, I was able to really reassure the other candidates who said, oh, it was a waste of my time, I should have done this, I should have done that. And I said to them, it's not a waste of your time, it's experience, and it's something you can take with you to another interview and judge for yourself how you'd want to be within that company if you still want to be working there. I think it's very important that we, take things into perspective, and I try to get other individuals to see that too. So as well as you heal yourself, you're trying to help heal others on their path too. And if you're watching this, you're not just watching this out of coincidence, you're watching this because you've come to a certain stage as well where perhaps you need to test your metrics, you need to test yourself against what's going on externally. Have I really healed? I don't know if I'm going to encounter a situation where I can kind of test that. So for me, that was my test, and for you, you may be coming up to a test. So that hence why there's this, you might be going through a situation like myself. I didn't get picked, but it doesn't matter because I'm going forward into my lush future. And the Nine of Swords is, it might have played on my mind a little bit, and I did think about it, but then I thought, hey, you know what? It doesn't really truly matter. I'm in my energy, I'm in my power. And it's all good because it's all part and parcel of the cycle and part and parcel of life. So, I'm here to tell you this, and I hope you can kind of take that message going forward positively. And so don't be so worried. If you do go through this in future, or you experience a similar circumstance or a different circumstance that makes you feel like that, it's all okay. It's all part of the experience, and your higher self, your higher mind, as long as you keep connecting with that, will always reassure you and they'll always be by your side, as in your angelic beings and your guardian angels and God, they're always there. You just need to call on them because they just can't interfere with your free will. So if you don't call them in, they won't be able to assist you. So always call them in. And do you know what? It really helps. And it helps because when you have your angelic presence with you and you're working with your guides, that feeling that you have around you, that ground, it expands to other people as well. And it makes them think and reflect. So there may be some words, reassuring words you could say, that will have a knock-on effect on another individual, a very wonderful domino effect that will go on. And so here you're really being, when you encounter these things, you're going to be a light for other individuals who are allowing these negative emotions to sort of trigger them and let them go forward. It allows them to heal as well as yourself. So I know this is a bit of a long message, but I really hope that helps. I'm just going to see if there's anything else here. Yeah, see, look, what did I say about you being a light and all this negativity, or people who have negative emotions around you. You need to carry on being that for other people. Hold it, be stable and sturdy with it, because that's what others need. Even if they don't really consciously recognize it, you are being that for them. I'm just going to have a look underneath. Yeah, I hope this message resonates with you. If it doesn't, there are my other videos that you can watch and maybe you may be able to connect with. But thank you very much for watching today, and I really hope this helps. As it comes up to the 11/11 date, I do or will have some channeled messages where it won't involve my tarot cards, but is very and will be very important messages for the collective to hear, particularly those who are in twin flame separation or higher soulmate level unions, or wish to be in them. These will be channelings from my angelic guides, my higher self, to relay to the world. And I think it's going to be a little bit of a world apart from what you may be used to listening to other readers, but I really hope it guides you and it helps, especially as we've lost in the past few years, we've lost very good spiritual leaders in that area. So in a way, I'm not kind of surprised that I've had some extra channelings in from that aspect. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I would really love to hear your thoughts and comments or readings that you'd like me to do. And I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye now.